I think a lot of art is about knowing something when you see it. You just recognise it and think, oh yeah, that's really interesting. It's almost like an instinct. The more you look, the more you become aware of that sort of ability to see what you like or what you think is good. I think if you look at a lot of good art, then you get to recognise good art. It's a sort of necessity, a bit like going for a walk. You need to go for a walk. You need to, you need to make some art. I think if you've been doing something like this for a long time, there's a kind of continuity from one thing to the next. So one piece of work that you might have finished is the starting point for another. I think if you stop for any length of time, you've got a problem, because it's very difficult to pick up the threads. And a lot of the work is about the thread of one piece moving into another, moving into another. I suppose it's always like the next piece is it's an interest thing. I'm interested in seeing what happens. It's kind of an unfolding story, never ending. Sometimes you come to a complete dead end, and you just have to pick up and keep going again. I think that's the criteria I use to finding out whether it's finished or not. Actually, it arrives at a place where you hadn't sort of conceived it to be when you started. Finding somewhere where you feel at home is where you need to be. Academic teaching wasn't that interesting to me. It wasn't done in a way that made any sense. It was all done by sort of memory and fact after fact after fact, you know. So the point where you just sort of you learn enough facts to pass an exam. But it was only in the art room that I really enjoyed myself. I felt at home, actually. I think you have to keep challenging yourself in some way, refreshing yourself. You can get stuck if you're not careful. I kind of repeat the motifs a lot, but I try to sort of change my way of doing them, just to see what happens, you know. Often it's nonsense and, you know, you chuck it away or you start again or something. But then sometimes an unpromising beginning brings about an interesting final outcome. I've been making a living as a carpenter for about 30 years. So I introduce wood into various images, using the strips of wood to make the lines, to make the shapes, to make the pattern. It's a bit like, I suppose, people go out into a landscape to paint. I go into the wood pile behind me and pull out stuff and muck about with it and see what happens. And the carpentry work goes on in this room as well as the painting, so it all goes on together in a way. It's not, you know, one thing is better than the other or one thing is different from the other. Although they're different in type, in inclination, they're still part of the same process of the sort of daily making something. You know, you can just be an artist in your own right anywhere. You can love drawing, or you can love, you know, taking photographs, or whatever it is. Just do it, just make it. Make the work, and don't think about the consequences of it. So art is a kind of individual enterprise, a way of people finding their way in the world to make sense of what it is that they're seeing, doing, feeling, thinking. That's what art is. It's not a career, it's a kind of way of life, I think. It's to be seen like that.